Real good.
Yeah. Coach, I talked to Race and Trace about this. They talked about shooting being the biggest thing that made you take a step forward. Is that the same thing in your head to get to the next level?
I think so. I mean, making shots cure a lot of things offensively. And we sure had our share of good looks last year, especially from the three-point line that we just didn't make. And we got to become a better free throw shooting team too, because close games, key guys got to get to the free throw line. We got to count on them to, walk away with making them. So those two things, and you add those two things with defense, then you got a pretty good ball club.
How has Miller Top kind of progressed in that area?
Well, again, I mean, this summer he's put in a lot of work in shooting the basketball, and he's shooting it a little bit better now. I think a lot of it is because he's comfortable. It was a little different playing at Northwestern, and that's no knock against Northwestern. I don't know if he got the looks, we giving him the looks. He's just got to be comfortable and knocking them down. But he's been working. I'll tell you that. He looks good.
What do you like about playing for Geronimo with Race and Trace together, those three together? What does that do for you?
Well, again, it's a unique lineup because they're so long and rangy and athletic. It causes problems from a defensive standpoint. But you give up a little something, from shooting. Although Race took more threes and made more threes last season than he's ever made, and Geronimo has, kind of been up and down in making them, but he's capable of making the three. So I just got to get these guys in a comfort level where, when they do take them, they feel good about shooting them and making them.
Do you think this team could be one of your best offensive rebounding teams?
I wouldn't say that. That Knick team in New York with Tyson and that crew was pretty good. But we're longer this year than we were last season with adding the freshmen that we've added. And the only small guy we got is Xavier. And he hates when I say that, but he plays bigger than what he is, which is kind of nice.
I know you didn't coach against him necessarily, but Trace said that Jalen reminds him a little of Ayo DeSumo. What do you think
Of who?
Ayo DeSumo?
I don't even know who that is.
Played at Illinois. Plays for the Bulls now. Point guard.
Give me the name again.
Ayo DeSumo.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I think his overtones is Jason Kidd a little bit, but not with the speed going north and south. His decision making with the basketball is pretty good for a young kid. Yes, he's going to have to improve consistently in making shots, which he can make. He's a pretty good damn free throw shooter. And he defends. He gets after you defensively. So he has the makeup of being a pretty rounded player if he keeps working and growing.
Mike, you play in a much different Big Ten than it is now. I wonder what you thought about how it's going to change in a few years, going basically coast to coast with the addition of UCLA and USC.
Well, that's a big difference, but it's competition. UCLA is always have great competition. Their history of their program in basketball has been fantastic over the years. And USC, they've had their moments as well. So it just makes our league even more stiffer, man. The Big Ten is brutal. You got great coaches and a lot of talent. So I don't think you can take any nights off in the Big Ten and expect to win.
Do you remember what it was like with UCLA when you were growing up and that run?
Yeah, they've always had great. You think about the Walton and Kareem, and they go on for days. The the players that have come out of UCLA. They like North Carolina in that sense in terms of turning out great players over the years. So I think it's good for the Big Ten. I do. It's just more competition, man. That's how I look at it.
Coach, at least 4 times this year there will be a game where there's 2 black head coaches coaching against each other in this conference. Is this becoming, in your opinion, getting away from being accepted and starting to become the rule?
Well, again, I don't really look at black and white, but I think at the end of the day, I've had this same argument and voiced my opinion for years in the NBA because we lack minority head coaches. And, there are a lot of great coaches, black and white. It doesn't matter. But there are a lot of great minority coaches, too, that can coach and if given the opportunity. So it's great for the Big Ten. It's great for all sports. I mean, everybody, if you qualified good enough, you should get an opportunity if somebody's willing to give you that opportunity. And I think that's what's happening in the Big Ten now.
You had a lot of success at the NBA levels as assistant head coach. What was the biggest takeaway, in your first year moving on at the collegiate level?
I think the beauty about being in college more than anything, in the NBA, because this is where I spent all my life, man, you playing 3 or 4 games a week. It's just not enough time to really prepare and teach, man. You kind of like rolling the dice every time you jump it up. And I'm saying in college, man, I get a lot of opportunity to teach and prepare before I step out on that floor to coach. And that's kind of nice because I haven't been able to do that in a long time. That's the fun part about being back in college, or being in college.
Did that spark something for you to be able to teach?
Well, I mean, it's what we like to do as coaches. I'm not the only one teaching. All these guys teach, man, and they prepare. But a lot of these guys haven't been in my world. I spent 34 years of my life in the NBA, man, and to come now to college and I'm trying to figure it out, but I'll tell you this, I can go back and tell my assistant coaches I'm not a rookie anymore. That's for damn sure.
What did you learn about yourself in your first year? What are you thinking about changing going into this season?
Well, there are a lot of things you learn as a coach. My thing is just learning, my opponents and the guys that I'm coaching against. You got to figure out their style and what they're thinking, and it becomes a chess match. And I just got to make sure that my players are well prepared when they step on the floor to give themselves a chance to compete and win a game.
What coach in the Big Ten kind of gives you the most fits in preparing for it?
All these coaches are good. I can't single out one. They here for a reason. A lot of them have been around a long time, and they're good at what they do, man. I mean, I have nothing but utmost respect for all coaches. I don't care where you coach. Coaching is tough. It really is.
What made you want to go and coach?
I don't know. When I retired in '91 after 11 years of playing, and a coach that I played for by the name of Cotton Fitzsimmons bamboozled me, basically. He's no longer with us, but his wife, she knows, Joanne. He bamboozled me to come out to Phoenix and be his assistant in the pre-draft camp that they had out in Phoenix, Arizona. And he said, well, we can play golf every day. And so I'm on the first plane moving. And I get out there and we go to our first practice and he's putting in some stuff. And then after about 30 minutes, he says, hey, Woody, it's all yours now. I'm going to play golf. And I'm looking like, what do you mean? I've never coached before. Literally lost. I had played 11 years and didn't know a damn thing about coaching. And he left me. And he went and played golf. And that's how I started, man. And I've been chasing it ever since.
Like, isn't that process at all doing this job where I don't know if you've fallen back in love with it, but you've maybe found a whole new love now being the coach at your alma mater?
It's a big time love. I mean, really, because it was you guys that said, hey, he was too old, he can't recruit, he's been away for 42 years. I mean, all the negative things that you could say about a guy that's so much interested in this job. And I was able to beat those odds and get the job, and I don't think I'm too old, and I think we've done a pretty good job in recruiting. And only time will tell, once you start playing. And I never was away. You guys just didn't know it. I was always back.
Had you ever been on the receiving end of that much doubt?
Oh, it happens in your career, man. I mean, if you play basketball as long as I've played it and coached as long as I've coached, it's a part of it. Hell, all you got to do is go through New York one round, and they'll let you know a little bit of everything. But you figure it out, and you just keep moving, man. I mean, if I had to worry about everything that was said about Mike Woodson, man, I don't think I would have ever been. I wouldn't be sitting in this seat today, I'll tell you that.
What's the feeling that comes to your mind when you think back to Friday night at Assembly Hall, where the building was buzzing at a level that other college basketball programs will only dream of it buzzing? You obviously had a notable quote at that I won't submit or say, but the point is, what are the emotions that come to mind in the build-up?
Well, that statement that I made wasn't based on the fact that, somebody said to me, well, you still got to win a Big Ten title. You're right, I do. But that statement was based on what I remembered as a player. And now that I'm the coach, it hasn't changed. The fan base is still as big as ever. We just got to do our part and win. That's what they were accustomed to, man. And when I said that, that's what I was basing it on, man. And I still mean that. I truly do. Indiana is it doesn't get much better than Indiana basketball if you win it. I mean, that's what they expect, and they show more love and respect for our players. And my walk in life there in Bloomington has been so good, man. I mean, coming back, it has been.
Mike, there's been a lot of conversation about how hard Trace has worked to its game. You've seen it now in practice for months. And, will we see a different player in Trace?
Well, again, only time will tell. Let me just say this. Here's a guy that rebounds, blocks shots. There's a loose ball, he gets on the floor, passes out of the double team, finishes around the rim, initiates breaks, finishes at the end of a break. Hell, I don't know what more you want him to do.
He doesn't have to do more to be great.
No, but I mean, but he's got to improve on making free throws. And if he's got shots on the perimeter, he's got to feel good about shooting them, because he doesn't have a bad shot. And I've never told him he couldn't shoot. So those are the few things that I think he needs to tidy up. But listen, if I'm an NBA scout or NBA coach or general manager, I'm not critiquing this game based on him being able to make a damn three-point shot. That's ridiculous. This kid his stats and what he's done since he's been at IU speaks for itself, man. And, he's tasted a little success last year from a winning standpoint. And him making the commitment to come back, man, that speaks volume for him, because he knows there's possibly some unfinished business that he needs to take care of. And that's winning a Big Ten title. And if you playing in this Big Ten for anything less than that, man, you should go home. You play in the Big Ten to win a Big Ten, not to come in second or third or last or whatever. You play to win it.
Did that mentality and installing that mentality, making that the belief from these guys. Trace and Ray's talked about it. That was an instant transition when you took over. What was that process of saying, yeah, what was happening before, that's not good enough here. We've got to think this way.
Well, when you come in our arena and you look up in the Raptors and you see all those Big Ten banners and those national banners, I was one of those Big Ten banners. You know, I know what it feels like to win a Big Ten title. It's a beautiful thing, man. I can't sell them on nothing else. Hell, I can't wait until I'm 80 years old coaching to win a Big Ten title if I'm going to be around it. So, shit, they got some work to do.
Coach, who do you think will be the hardest player not from your team to prepare for this season?
Oh, that big old guy in Purdue. Edie.
And then if you could coach one player from a different Big Ten team, who would it be?
Oh, I'm still trying to learn these guys, you know. And you lost really three great ones, I thought, in Keegan and Ivy and the kid from Davis from Wisconsin. So I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of great players, you know. It's hard to say. I'll take my own guy.
Mike, when it comes to sort of the mentoring side of the job or dealing with players through the ups and downs of a season, how is that different for you with 18 to 22-year-olds compared to 25 and 30-year-olds that might go through slumps or anything like that?
It's no different. You know, all I can do is convert back to when I was in Atlanta when I had the youngest team in the NBA, and they were like 18, 19, 20-year-old, should have stayed their butts in school, but they didn't. They decided to go pro because they were good enough. And so you have to deal with those ups and downs. I mean, it's a part of it, man. And so I'm not new to it. You know, I mean, I've experienced it on a bigger level. And we had our ups and downs last year, but the beauty about last year, we broke through at the right time to be able to make a statement and get to the big dance.
Do you like that side of it, sort of the developing emotional connections with players?
I love it because I think in this day and time, more than ever, more than any time when I was growing up, it's a lot of stuff going on in our society that can really trip a young man or girl up. It doesn't matter. I see it every day. You read about it, you hear about it. So my job more than anything is to mentor, coach, be a father figure. It's a lot of things that come with being a coach, man. It's just not X's and O's. And I love doing that because Bob Knight did that for me.
Do you possibly see Logan Duncombe having a much more expanded role this season?
He's better. You know, he's picked up 23 pounds. He's much better than he was last year. I just got to get him to take it a little more serious.
A big guy come in. Is he going to be? He's been battling with Race and Trace. But he's a freshman. How hard is it going to be for him to find some minutes?
Well, if you ask Race and Trace, he's already established himself as a player. And I mean, I don't like giving freshmen much prop anyways, let alone these rookies when I was getting them in the NBA. But because you got to earn your way. And he's starting to grow from the time he started three months ago when they came up for summer play to where he is now. He's starting to figure out some things, and that's kind of nice to see.
He looked kind of comfortable in the corner in this area during that scrimmage shooting threes. Is that a part of his game?
He's made a lot of threes in scrimmage. So in our scrimmages, that ain't the first scrimmage we've had. That was just a little. We had on pro day a big time scrimmage, and he really played well. So it's, again, all of that's good. It's just got to become consistent, and it's got to be parlayed into ball games.
Mike, how much more versatile do you think this year's team can be on the offensive end of the floor?
Well, we are longer and more athletic. and guys can do more with the basketball than we had in the past. So I would like to think if we can get up and down and run and spray the ball around a little bit more, we'll have more opportunities to make shots.
The pro day, being in that situation, those guys, that pressure on because they know there's 30 guys from the NBA watching. It's probably as close as mimicking a game type situation right now. Were you able to see anything from your guys?
It was kind of impressive. I thought they might go the other way. I wish those pros could come every practice. That's how good we were in practice that day. I'm always gauging practice. You know, we have a bad practice, I'm gonna let you know this was terrible. We weren't committed, and you try to stay away from it. A lot of bad practices because that can develop bad habits.
I work for the Washington Post, so Emily, I just want to ask a broad question. Do you think in this era with the transfer portal, new coaches are expected to win quicker? Or do you think the capability to do that has increased?
Well, there's no doubt that the portal changes the game. And we played in the portal a year ago as a rookie coach coming in. We bought Xavier Johnson in, and we bought Big Mike Dure in. So, we didn't have to do it this year because we had 4 wonderful recruits that made the commitment to wear the uniform. So it's going to be, and it's not going anywhere. So it's based on year to year and who's happy and willing to stay with you and who's not, and that will put you in position to either be in the portal or not be in the portal.
When you recruited Jalen Hood-Schifino, did you see what he has right now and how he's being touted as the freshman of the year in the Big Ten? Did you see that when you were recruiting him, or has he kind of caught you off guard?
I saw a lot of things. The thing I liked about him, he was competitive, and he could do a little bit of everything. He ain't fancy, none of that. He just knows how to play. And that's what attracted me to him. He's a big guy. He's a big 6'5" kid that's basically got an NBA body already. He's good built. But at the end of the day, he's got to work and develop. You can't be happy based on what somebody else says or what I was thinking at that time. Now that I've gotten you, now you got to go to work and get better and help us, win basketball games. He's a good kid, though. He's done everything we've asked him on and off the floor, all those freshmen have, which is kind of nice.
Have you seen Tamar Bates kind of change mentality-wise from when he stepped on campus?
I think having that baby last year changed his whole mentality. He's grown. His body has changed from a little thin kid where he looks good, and he's playing better. He's not the same Tamar Bates that I saw last year as a freshman because he just mentally had a lot of things that was going on, man, and I think he's finally come to terms with everything, and he looks good.
Coach, I've been talking to a couple of players around here, and they keep bringing Zach Edey's defense up. What stands out about him defensively? Because usually I just focus on his offense.
20 feet tall. If he don't block the shot, he's altering shots. That's the beauty about having a big 7-footer. You might not always block him, but you sure enough can change everything about the shot going in there to the rim. So that's the difference with him.
Got time for one more question. What do you see about Edey's pick-and-roll defense? That's kind of a big topic around here.
Well, again, I know the way they've used him, and a lot of bigs like that, they try to zone up with him and play that way. And, Obviously, it works for Purdue because they've had some success doing it, and I imagine they'll continue to do it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh.